Good to have you with us on this Friday. I'm Kristen Swilley. A district appeals court came down in favor of homeless advocates. This as dozens of people gathered here. One of the first things you notice when you get here, from about half a mile away, you can see the smoke just billowing out of the top of this house. Crews are arriving right now in order to move that out of the way. In fact, as you take a step to me over here, you can see this is the tow truck. We were looking for the crowd, and this is certainly what we found. We just had sirens go off a couple of moments ago. We have more police migrating down this way. Yeah, good evening, guys. It is not unprecedented for poll workers to be here throughout the night, and that will certainly be the case this time. Union Baptist now has $400,000 in the next 3 years to begin breathing new life into this historic cemetery. And in fact, we've just seen the last of our protesters loaded up onto this Metro bus here. So you go ahead and take a look over here. They're about to go ahead and pull off. Welcome back. If you or someone you love has a baby in the family, this could be the most important story you watched. Veronica Grimm is a lifelong animal lover who saw the Australian bushfires on television happening thousands of miles away and thought there was something she might be able to do right here in northern Kentucky. Jamison Walker admits he was here a little past curfew on Sunday in front of Blackburn Tattoo, where he works. He was painting the names of African Americans who've been killed over the years on the front window here with the owner's permission, and that is when police arrested him. For Jamison Walker, art is more than skin deep. So when protests began, Walker and his co-workers used the front of their Court Street business to showcase their support.
So that we can show the people that we're with them.
He says he was nearly done when officers showed up to arrest protesters breaking curfew and walked up to him. Walker says he asked an officer's permission to finish up and thought he was in the clear. He was not. Officers can be heard in the video saying to go inside. Walker says another officer blocked his path.
And when I did turn around, they pushed me up against the glass and then pulled out their tasers.
It was all emotional. I started crying. I started screaming.
Mariah Johnston, who was also outside and was not arrested, recorded the video.
This is going to hurt really bad. I'm going to see him in pain, for over, a curfew.
I was terrified.
Walker was charged with misconduct at an emergency for breaking curfew and spent the night in the Hamilton County Justice Center. Days later, Walker, who grew up wanting to be a police officer, still doesn't think the confrontation had to end in arrest.
I'm not one to fear people, and in that moment, I was so fearful because I knew I couldn't fight back. Even though you could see in the video, I'm yelling, hey, I work here. I'm a father of 2. I'm not the aggressor right now. Listen to me. Just listen to me.
Now, I did reach out to Cincinnati police, and they do not have an official statement on Walker's arrest. They said they are going to let this one play out in the courts. Reporting live, Kristen Swilley, WCPO 9 News.
We're helpless. We're sitting here helpless.
At nearly 70, Carol Ann Horn fights every day to stay healthy. She's a former nurse.
44 years, everything from floor nurse to director of nursing and long-term care.
Now her main focus is beating cancer to save herself.
In December, I needed a CAT scan of the head and neck with contrast. They were actually looking for a bleed or a tumor, and quite by accident discovered a tumor on my thyroid.
But because of COVID-19, the surgery to remove that tumor and start treatment, a surgery once just a week away, is now on hold indefinitely.
I just never knew cancer could wait.
Horn worries if things get worse and her surgery can't happen, she may lose her entire thyroid and her way of life.
When my doctor told me I needed surgery, he didn't say, "Do you want it? We can wait 6 months or a year." He said, "You need it. We're going to schedule it now."
We reached out to Horn's hospital, where officials couldn't comment directly because of privacy laws, but sent us this statement, which says it, like all Ohio hospitals, is explicitly following the Ohio Department of Health's order to postpone elective surgeries and procedures in an effort to conserve personal protective equipment for healthcare workers and first responders.
When you go into surgery, you not only have to be at a certain place physically, but emotionally. And the longer I wait, the worse I'm deteriorating.
Megan was the brightest person in the room, no matter where she was.
This is how those who knew Megan Betts choose to remember her. A beacon of light that made friends everywhere she went.
Like, she just completely took me under her wing.
But those memories are now all they have left. Police say her brother Connor Betts shot and killed her and 8 others in front of this Dayton bar.
I spent all day Sunday with the family. I can't describe, how they're feeling.
Here in Bellbrook, more than 100 gathered to mourn all 9 victims and come to terms with how 2 of their own became the center of a national tragedy.
Oh my God, this can't be happening. Like, she was so nice to me, so we were so close.
Betts was in the color guard and band in high school. She was well liked by her peers.
The class of 2015 definitely lost a friend when we lost Megan.
But she also befriended underclassmen. Olivia Keller was in 8th grade when she met Betts.
She would show up at rehearsals, and she was there for me at shows with her, and it was fantastic.
And though this is a dark time, friends say her light lives on.
She was really, like, the best kind of person.
Oh, this is scary. It's not right.
Kim Dillard is the great niece of 99-year-old Mary Frances Page.
You know, imagine being that old and being uprooted at that age.
Page is bedridden and for the past 15 years has called this West End apartment home. But this building will soon be leveled and the clock is ticking for everyone who remains in these buildings on Wade Street and Central Avenue.
I have to find something fast, like immediately.
Crystal Lane has 4 children. She says she struggled to find a place with 3 bedrooms on the Housing Choice Voucher program.
I've even went Butler County, like looking, and they have the same issues going on. Housing is very limited.
These tenants first learned they'd have to move in February after FC Cincinnati bought their buildings. They extended the deadline. Still, they're running out of time to find a place that can work. We discovered the time it's taking them isn't unusual.
We want to be around where we feel safe, where we feel like it's home.
Leslie Wardlow with Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority says the demand for affordable housing currently far outweighs availability. CMHA opened up the wait list in September.
During that period, we had 13,400 people apply. There are only 6,500 slots that will be filled for the wait list.
And that's just the wait list. Applicants also have to interview to qualify for vouchers.
We would have people on the wait list for 5-10 years. But now that we cut the amount of people down, we get through the process a lot faster.
Thousands of people get vouchers. Still, landlords have to agree to accept them.
We all know the need is high. We all have to work together to make that change. So, build more units or accept more people.
Seven Hills Neighborhood Houses fights to save affordable housing in and out of the voucher program.
We're trying to go about this proactively and not reactively.
Tia Brown, Community Engagement Director, works in the West End to make sure housing exists and fights to secure more before it's too late.
We don't want to say, here's all this vacancy, here's all these empty houses, and now market rate comes in, and then there's nothing left for affordable.
But with development rolling in, Seven Hills is also racing against the clock.
It's here. It's not that it's coming, it's here. And it's going to continue.
I truly didn't think we would still be here looking for housing.
For Dillard and Lane, it's a search that expands by the day as time runs out.
It's not right.
Respect anything, your hands ready.
It's homecoming night at Taft High School.
Yeah, game time, baby.
And the team is leaving it all on the field.
Play for one another. Play for one another. Your last one.
But this time, it's not just the seniors saying goodbye.
And it means everything to the boys and to the parents and to the fans.
It's emotional. I've been here, this is my 11th year here.
Long after the lights die down and the bleachers clear, a legacy remains.
I think it's an awesome tribute to Dad. The whole family was just so excited when the Taft alumni suggested that the stadium, Taft Stadium, be named Willard Stargell.
Jason Stargell is the youngest of Willard Stargell's 5 children.
It just allows us to realize Dad had an impact.
Willard Stargell was a longtime coach here at Taft and former UC football star, 2 parts of his life that were sources of great pride and reminders of racial prejudice.
He said it's important that we be better so that we can't be judged inadequate.
When UC's football team was invited to play Virginia Tech in the 1947 Sun Bowl in Texas, it came with a contingency. Stargell couldn't come because he was black.
It hurt Pops, I think, a little when UC decided to go to the bowl game and leave him home.
Jason Stargell says his dad was never bitter. Instead, he devoted his life to the students here at Taft.
He was an educator, and it wasn't just about the sciences or physical ed. Dad was an educator about life.
He was beloved, but never offered the top job. That title went to a white coach.
I wasn't even aware of the fact that Dad wasn't the head coach until well into my adult years. But he didn't speak much about anything that tried to hold him down.
A legacy solidified with his namesake stadium, built in 2004.
Stay away, please. I'm considering somewhere for a soccer is one, because it's not right here.
Which is part of why people were so upset.
Once that property is paid for, the land, it's a wrap.
When they first learned FC Cincinnati's new multi-million-dollar soccer stadium would replace Stargell Stadium, Monica Williams is moving out too.
They're letting me stay just to fulfill my catering orders till, end of November, and then I'm out.
Her business is feet from Taft High School and will move out to make room for the new stadium's construction. She leases the space and says she was offered $20,000 to move.
It's not even a food truck. It gets me maybe 30 days to pay some bills and recoup and find out where I'm going to go work.
FC leadership says they're working with Williams and others about how to move forward.
We respect the fact that change has not always been good in the West End and other parts of our community.
But, he says, they're trying to retain the neighborhood's character and complexion.
Genuinely, we want to be about improving the future.
Jason Stargell is pro FC Cincinnati. He's a soccer enthusiast who also wants to protect his father's legacy. He's optimistic about what's to come and what he hopes will remain.
Things have always seemed to work out well for Pops and for the family, and just doing the right thing seems to always be fruitful. So we hope, we keep our fingers crossed.